Now, I know some people will say that the best place to learn Spanish is in Mexico, the best place to learn Spanish is in Spain or some other Spanish speaking country. But honestly, in my opinion, the best place to learn Spanish is right where you are right now. And I know and you don't have to agree with that, but let me explain though. I'll tell you some of my explanation on that because I believe that if we can't take advantage of opportunities right in front of us, it's going to be harder to take advantage of opportunities that might be in other places. And so I have a principle here that I want to share on the screen. And it's this it's based on the biblical principle. If you're faithful in the least, you'll be faithful in much. It says this it says, He who is faithful in improving the least opportunity for language learning in his home country will also be faithful in improving opportunities in a foreign country. He who is unfaithful in improving the least opportunity for language learning in his home country will also be unfaithful in improving opportunities in a foreign country. And so basically, if you are watching this video, I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to assume that you have internet, or at least you have access to internet, even if you don't have internet. And I'm going to assume you have some type of device. Maybe it's your laptop, you have a laptop, or you have an iPad or tablet, or you have a smartphone, or maybe you have all three of those. And so that gives you a connection with a lot of Spanish material, a lot of native Spanish speakers, and a lot of content that you could access right where you are. I am actually doing this live stream. For instance, I'm doing this live stream right on my couch. You know, I'm not in anything fancy. I'm in an apartment. I'm taking advantage of opportunities that I have right in front of me to do this live stream. Is not fancy at all. I mean, it's actually getting more fancy. But my main thing is when we look at a place, this is what happens. I want to show you on a slide. We can say things like this. If only I was in country AX, I would really learn Spanish. Have you said that before? Like, I would really learn Spanish or German or Korean, but I have to be in South Korea to learn that. I have to be in Germany to learn that. And in my opinion, this is what happens, or what this is what that thought process looks like to me. This is an excuse that stops us from taking advantage of opportunities that are right in front of us. Okay, and so I'm not saying don't go to Spain, don't go to Mexico, don't go to Germany or Korea. But I'm saying, in the meantime, even if you're going to those places, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? So, for instance, one thing that happened to me, or I mean, this has happened to the world, I guess. I was thinking of debating if I wanted to talk about this, but I will. You know, I talk about how I went to a Spanish church, and I've been there at this Spanish church, I don't know, maybe 40 times or something like that. That was before COVID, right? And then COVID hit. And then it has been harder to go to churches and things like that because of all the things associated with the pandemic. But if you look at that, some people would say, "Oh, that wasn't really a big opportunity," but I took advantage of that opportunity that was right in front of me, and I got a lot of blessings from doing that. And so we might belittle sometimes things that we could do right now, but later we might say, whoa, that was a real big opportunity that I could take. So there can be people that might not have as much opportunities as other people, but what's going to make the difference is what people do with those opportunities they have. And I was just hearing somebody, his name is Sean Cannell. He said something like, you can have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. So we can say, okay, well, I want to really focus on this place that's really out of my reach right now. It's going to take me like 3 years to get there, 4 years, 5 years, or something like that, or maybe even a year before I get to Spain. So I'm going to focus all my energy on just thinking, oh, if I was just there, I would be so good in Spanish. Where there's going to be somebody else that's just going to get on the internet and is going to start learning how to read in Spanish and all that stuff, take advantage of the time. It's going to start reading books in Spanish, you know, like this or something like that. And I'm going to tell you that the person that thinks about where they want to be but never really puts the effort in is going to not be at the same level as someone that takes advantage of the opportunities right in front of us. All right, so that's the mindset I want you to have. And I know a lot of people can tell you, hey, you're not going to really learn the language unless you're in the country. But there's so many. I think there's so many holes with that. For instance, some people that are in a country, for instance, in the United States, there's Spanish speaking people that have immigrated to the United States, right? They're first generation. That doesn't necessarily mean they're learning English. A lot of them have, but you have to actually put the effort. Even though you're in the country, you still have to put the effort to learn the language. And the other thing that happens is you could say on the flip side, yes, people that go to Spain, yes, they learn the language, but guess what? They put in the effort to learn the language. And I've talked about this so many times. I could go really deep on that. And I think I should go a little bit deeper. Like I said, I've talked about this in the video, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Like I've said before, for instance, if I let's say I didn't know anything about Spanish, right? I was at level 0, but I said I want to learn. I see what y'all are saying. Christine says, yeah, that's true. Doing Mean says, exacto. Let's say I didn't know anything about Spanish, but I said I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to Spain. Now, in my situation right now, I'm a working class adult. Okay, I still have to make a living to live, right? So I would still, if I go to Spain, I'm still going to have to make a living some way. So guess what I'm going to have to do if I go to Spain with zero knowledge of Spanish? I'm going to have to get a job. Now, the reality is, what type of job am I going to get? Am I going to get a job in English, or am I going to get a job in Spanish? The reality is, if I don't know Spanish, I probably am not going to get a job in Spanish. So that means that I will have maybe 8 hours of the day in which I will be in Spain speaking in English. So, so the question then is, when will I learn a language? I'm sorry, when will I actually have that more time, that dedicated time to learn Spanish? That's going to be on my time off from work. And if you really think about it, I could be doing the same thing in the United States, because I could even work in an all English environment, but then on my time off from work, I could be learning Spanish. It's the same. It's kind of like the same thing. The reality is, you just, again, you have to take advantage of the opportunities. And in the United States, I already know my routine. I know how to get where I need to go. I know, how to do banking and all that. If I go to Spain, I don't know that. So there's going to be a bigger learning curve that I could just go from my job to my duplex or wherever I am, and then take advantage of time and be more efficient in time. Okay, so you can get a job in Spain teaching English. That's true. I could get a job in Spain teaching English, but I'm saying that would still be English. And that would be maybe the job I would get. It would be something that would center around English. But let's say I'm trying to learn Spanish, and my goal for learning Spanish was to go to Spain, but I'm still going to be in that English bubble, for at least for my work. And so I'm saying that there are people that go to these countries and they still have to be looking for a language partner. It's not like, sometimes when you go to, for instance, I don't have a dream that I'm going to try to learn a language and I'm going to have an hour-long conversation in a grocery store. I mean, I've asked that question before. It's like, have you had an hour-long conversation in a grocery store with somebody? And so I'm not going to have this idea that everybody's just going to be so willing for me to just learn the language that they speak. I need to really be going to, if I want to go to a country, I want to go more than just them helping me. I want to go there seeking to serve them. But it's good to know something about the language before going to the country, in my opinion.